My position here now is actually just been changed to a senior project manager over the last week through some of the stuff that's happened in South Korea, so that's really nice. But when I first started here, I was just a technician. At the time, this company was recruiting from the TAFE, and so I got the call to come in here and had an interview with the boss, and they told me what this was about, and I was sold, and that was 15 years ago now, so yeah. So RPS is a huge global company, I guess, but our small portion of it, we can call it RPS metocean. We're a small business of about 50 people. Our expertise is in everything related to oceanographic measurement, so that's water currents and the wave heights and temperatures and that kind of thing. And just more recently moved more into wind profiling, so that's using a laser measurement device to measure wind 250 metres above the sea surface. And we've been doing the wind stuff for about 2 years now, and that's really the push. We can see that it's becoming a very big thing internationally to do offshore wind farming because it's a very good way of producing renewable energy. In order to do that, the first thing anyone has to do is to measure the wind on site with incredibly accurate and calibrated equipment. So that's where we come in. So we provide right from the design of the buoy to the mooring system to the mooring design, and then eventually at the other side of that we also produce all the reports and the data that will eventually go to the client. And we can see that some of the competitors aren't like that. They build a buoy that does a bit of a role and they just sort of hand it across for other people to manage. So there's a bit of duty of care there that we have, but that aside, we've only really designed our buoy in the last few years, whereas some of the other designs are quite old. It's not easy to put together a buoy that's going to survive in the conditions these things are going to be. These places are crazy. They're for a wind farm, right? So you want wind, and wind in the ocean means waves, and waves means chaos. We had the history behind us. We knew how to design things to last in the ocean, and we also knew how to design things with a totally renewable source of power, so solar panels and wind gens. Our buoy, still at the moment, is the only one that uses totally renewable sources for power. We're trying to be as green as possible anyway as a company, but we're caring for the seabed where we're putting our mooring. But also, yeah, look, we just think doing things renewable is the way to go, really, for the buoy. We have no emissions at all from our buoy. Our first revision buoy, because we won our first project without ever having even thought too hard about it. When we started to actually look at it closely, we realised it was going to be a much bigger job than we thought. We wanted to keep it to a minimum, but we also wanted to make sure we had enough what we call redundancy. And so a part of our experience in that is that we don't just do, when you do something in the ocean, you don't do a single system. You don't do one logger, one transmitter, one LiDAR, one solar panel, because if you lose anything, you're gone. So we got that together, put that to the engineers. They had a mini heart attack, but they worked it out. And it was a lot of overtime and a lot of hard work. We did get to a point where we got it built and we got it deployed at Hillary's here in Perth. And that was a heart-stop moment as well, because we'd done all this planning, but up until that point, we'd never put the buoy into the water. We didn't really know it was going to float. That moment when the buoy hit the water and then sat upright, that was a bit of a magical moment for me. It was just like, yes, it works. There's two different approaches really for what RPS wants to do moving to the future. One of those is to push more internationally with the metocean side of things, which is going well. And we have a lot of equipment just deployed recently in Indonesia. And we are looking at other places around the world to deploy as well. So I think that side of it we're looking to push. But the real push is to work out how to better service this LiDAR industry, which is really taking off. I know things have been heating up for us. We're getting a lot more requests for tendering our LiDAR buoys around the place. The other things that are good about RPS is we do provide this nuts and bolts right through to the end. So because we're doing everything, because we're going to site, we're putting these things in the water, we're servicing them at 6 months ourselves, we're seeing first-hand issues that maybe some other suppliers might not get to see. And that's really got us to the point where we have them to a place now where they just work. There's this saying that they've been using, which is making complex easy. And it really does fit for us. From the client's perspective, it is easy because we do it. When we make it work and we get it in, we get the job done. So yeah.